Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs. I'm Simon from Games Deconstructed, and you're watching 5-Minute Genres. Why are we here today? That is an excellent and topical question for today's episode, as we are going to be talking about the so-called ontological mystery subgenre. Just a very specific, very narrow subgenre of mystery stories. If you're interested in works of fiction like Kafka's Castle, the Danganronpa series, or maybe the movie Cube, you might enjoy today's episode. As per the name of the series, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock to keep my explanation reasonably brief, and without further ado, thanks for joining me for today's episode, and let's go! What are ontological mysteries? They are a very specific, narrow subgenre of mystery stories that are centered around so-called ontological questions. The genre name was popularized on TV tropes and is mostly used there. So what are these ontological questions? Now, ontology is a branch of philosophy, and more specifically metaphysics, and it deals with the act of being, or the state of existence. So what exists and what doesn't exist, when do things start to be, and maybe even more importantly why things exist, are all ontological questions. Ontological mysteries center on a more small-scale, more mundane version of these questions. So they might ask a question like, why are we here, but with the emphasis placed firmly on here. Meaning in this unfamiliar room with white walls, specifically, as opposed to another place we would expect to be in, like our home. Or maybe we pivot towards the why are we here question, which in this case has less to do with our purpose as a species, and more with the motive of the masked person who transported you to this nondescript white room without your consent. Finding the answers to these questions is the main motivation of the characters in ontological mystery stories, as well as a large selling point for the audience. So, if you find yourself in a locked room with no recollection of how you got there, chances are you are part of an ontological mystery. What are examples of ontological mysteries? You've got anime and TV series like Gantz, Doubt, or Dark Matter, movies like Circle, Cube, and The First Saw, especially, books like Kafka's The Castle, the Maze Runner series, or William Sleater's House of Stairs, and games like The First Amnesia, the Zero Escape series, and one of my absolute faves, Danganronpa. What emotions do ontological mysteries evoke? The idea of being in an unfamiliar place with little to no recollection of how you got there, or being held against your will by a person with unknown motivations, would evoke rather negative feelings in most people, due to its resemblance of actual real-life menacing or dangerous happenings like kidnapping, amnesia, or getting blackout drunk. As such, this plot element is mostly compatible with stories evoking feelings of dread or helplessness, with a bit of curiosity necessary to follow the character's journey from ignorance to understanding with interest. In that way, they are kind of a dark reflection of isekai stories, where in isekai, being transported to an unfamiliar place is mostly an opportunity for wish fulfillment, escapism, and the realization of power fantasies. In ontological mysteries, it's more often played for drama. What do ontological mystery stories look like? Ontological mysteries mostly concentrate on the plot elements rather than the aesthetics of a work of art. There's nothing preventing you from writing, say, an ontological mystery about cowboys, but to play into evoking the emotions that we've mentioned before, they often take place in more inhospitable environments, often either hyper-modern and minimalistic, or deliberately run down. Compare the geometric, brightly lit spaces of Cube with the stark, inhuman contrasts of Circle and the almost liminal spaces of Danganronpa. Through lighting, color, and material choices, they heighten the emotional impact of the work, and they do it well. What are ontological mystery stories about? A popular usage of these stories is as a parallel for larger-scale ontological questions within our lives. In what's often called a microcosm, a small-scale reflection of the world, Characters may be stand-ins for social or philosophical viewpoints, and their struggles and successes in this constrained environment may be perceived as saying something about the world at large. So the question, why are we in this white room, serves as a stand-in for why are we in this unfamiliar world as humanity, as a species. And the character's attempts at solving the mystery mirror our own struggles for finding an understanding of our purpose in this world, or something. As always, I hope I've helped a tiny bit in advancing your understanding of the genre we've been talking about. If you feel that is the case, or if you generally like the cut of my jib, feel invited to leave a like, a nice comment, maybe saying which genre you'd like to see next, or a subscription, as they all help with the YouTube algorithm immensely. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.